Hello everybody. Doing a few little checks here. Okay. Let's make sure that this works. Ta-da-da. Hope everybody's all right. And yeah, started a few seconds early. Okay. Start okay. Looks good. Looks a little oversaturated. There's something I want to check. It's like there's some kind of a, I forgot to, it won't be long. Make sure that the lens is clean as a whistle. Sorry about that. First of all, because it really shows. And just want to make sure that it's all okay. Oh yeah, that's much better. It's incredible because you manipulate the phone and it just, goes nuts. So, hey, that is much better. It's a phone, so you always have the phone in your hand, so the camera is always like washed out. So, hey, everybody, welcome aboard. Nice to have you all here. Okay, let me just. Well, when I will talk more, probably be better. Anyways, we'll be checking out that. Let me just. I don't know. So the clock is there, which is a wrong place for it. I will. Let's just kind of play around with this a little bit. Because I've not set up here ever. This is going to be slowly but surely my new setup. And I want to make sure that it's all right. Pretty cool. So I've got the head in front of that. So what we could do is here, and I might change that and have the clock like here. I think that'd be better. Let me check that out. Nice to have everybody here, by the way. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's just borderline and the camera, but it's there. So I guess you people can see that. Welcome, everybody. Nice to have you here. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen each other last, and I'm really happy to be here. Let me just pop out the chat so I can actually have a better read. And here we go. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is my new setup, yes, but it's still incomplete. I need to buy new coax because I want to put my icon receiver like either here or in the corner. I'm not exactly how I want to put it, but I want to have it here so that I can tune around. And I thought that in that hole, but that is not necessarily deep enough. So maybe just underneath here, behind this clock, I could maybe set up the icon. But I did something that I shouldn't have done, which is I cut the coax and didn't give it enough length, because one of the things I wanted to do is, well, if I actually leave enough length, I can, do whatever I want, move the radio around and still have enough. Problem is, coax goes up to the radio. But to have it come here, I need a couple of feet more, which I don't have. I don't have it all. So that's one logistic thing, and there's going to be changes in the back here. The pirate flag, which is right there, will be hung here. I want actually to have two things. I want to have the pirate flag on one end, and I want to have a world map on the other end, so that we can all see that. And there'll be some. I've received them but not set them up yet. Some colored lights in the background. So it's getting there, and thanks to your donations, some of it is paid by your donations, and some of it, of course, with the monetization of YouTube. Hopefully, I hope by next week we'll be pretty much done. I still have quite a few things to do, but I kind of like the setup, and I wanted to be here. This is the desk. You know, when I got here 18 years ago, 18 years ago. And when I got here, I bought this huge desk in the back here because I started doing tech duties, and I thought the tech guy needs a really good desk, needs a really nice desk. And so where I was doing my shows, it's a table that was kind of adapted with a top where I would do all sorts of fixing, and because some clients would bring in their own their computers here. I had people from outside of Montreal that would actually hear how good I am apparently, and would bring the computers here. So I would fix some of them here, but the majority I would actually fix somewhere else. And I had this huge desk that if I would move from here, I don't even know if there's a room somewhere in the world that is big enough for this desk. This is a huge desk, and I paid like $1,000 for this desk, so like $800. And you know what? It's still nice. And I thought, look, I got to do something. And here I'm going to clean up the stuff also. Anyways, just changing things around, trying to make things a little more professional-like. One of the things that I also am looking at is a microphone that I could. Sorry, I'm just okay. I want to see how many people are watching. It's kind of fun to see the numbers. A professional microphone that will be in a kind of the arm. It will be on the side of the desk here, so I can extend it and have a microphone around here, so that instead of sounding like right now, which I do sound like I'm in a room, I will sound much better. And a cup, of course, I will probably here have a small console with the different inputs for microphones and the different computers, so that I can switch in input. I want to have you guys listen to something from there instead of blasting the volume, like to make the neighbors go nuts. I would just switch inputs and have you guys listen in. So there's that's the summer project for making this even a little more professional than it is, because it is, I don't want to have it super professional and be like that podcaster that spends $1 million on his podcast stuff, his YouTube stuff. Although if I do spend $1 million on all of that, it means that my YouTube stuff is really going well. But it's the way to go. Anyways, let's start and stop babbling a little bit. Hope you guys enjoy at least the basic part of all of this right now. So this is the Shortwave Show. We're here every Fridays, 2000 hours Universal Time. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Hope you are going to have a great time with us on this show. And it's always fun to be here. And you know what? After 2 weeks, I have to say I was kind of missing this a little bit. I am kind of really happy to be here. It's kind of cool. Of course, I got my beer, which is a Fin du Monde, which is the regular beer I have all the time. That also is going to change. I want to try different things. So when all this is set up, I'm going to have different beers. I don't want to have all the time the same thing. Hello there, Nicola Hughes. Nice to have you here. Glenn Brennan, nice to have you on board. Richard Cook from the UK, nice to have you here. PLF Radio from France. Bobby Burgess from Louisiana in the US and the United States. David Arden, nice to have you on board. Cosmic Lettuce, hey, greetings, nice to have you here. And and nice to see you here. Yeah, my favorite shirt today. I'm not fixing anybody's computers. I actually have a little story with this. I went to this, and I usually, some of you know because some have watched the videos, I go to a karaoke bar not far from here. But I went to a different karaoke bar a couple of months back, and they had a computer glitch, and the karaoke stopped. And after about 20 minutes, I offered my services because not because I wanted to help the bar. I was kind of annoyed at having to go fix a computer, especially I had a few beers. I was more in the mood of, well, I'm gonna go fix it because I want to have, and I want to sing. So the idea was I want to sing. So I fixed the computer, and we went back a week or 2 weeks later, and the computer had a problem again. And of course, I played around and fixed it. And the funniest thing is, we went the last time about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and I decided to wear this shirt. And the manager was there, and they didn't have any glitches that night, but everybody was laughing as they were saying, "Are you wearing that shirt because you don't want to touch the computer here again?" And I was like, "That's pretty much the deal. I don't want to do anything with the computers here. It's those setup. It's a place where the setup and the computers are like, the kind of setup you don't want to touch, because if you change something here, it's going to change something else, and they're going to say, well, that doesn't work anymore." And I was like, yeah, I don't want to touch this then, okay? I just want to sing. That's why I touched it. Anyways, MDK2, nice to have you here. PLF Radio, Nick Amendo from Romania. David Arden. Don't call me Shirley. Carl Tench, nice to have you here. Mark Cope from Dallas, nice to have you here. Vianney Arsenault, bienvenue, bonjour. VA2VMA from Gaspésie. What else do we have? James Green, nice to have you on board. Really, really nice to have everybody here. Going down. I'm coming, guys, because it's, what do we have here? So, what else do we have? So, James Green from Spring, Illinois. Oh, Spring Hill, sorry. I didn't see the FL. It's Spring Hill, Florida, sorry. Gordon Treadwell, nice to have you here, VE6GPT. Good afternoon. Svinja, hello there from Oregon. Nice to have you here. David Arden. What do we have? VHF UHF show is cursed. Yeah, it is kind of cursed, but you know what? What happened actually last week for the VHF UHF show? I wanted to do this for a while because when you get into your office and your office looks all messed up, you get to a point when you get in your office and you don't want to be in your office. You look at how messed up it is and you're like, okay, I don't like it. I don't like being here. And so I decided last week, like on Wednesday, I think, of last week, I got to start refreshing everything. I got to start changing stuff. I got to really place this office. It has to be my center hub for YouTube. It has to be my YouTube studio. Started playing around, and you know what? It looks messy, and it looks like a lot of work, but you start going through the stuff, and it is not just messy and a lot of work. It's much more work than you actually thought, and you got tons of things that you have no idea what to do with. I actually threw away 5 garbage bags of stuff. And if you'd be here, you would say, what the hell did you throw away? Because I see just tons of stuff everywhere. And it's like, yeah, because I've been careful choosing what I got to change, or what I got to throw away, crazy. Frank Photo, nice to have you here on Hamsphere. Yeah, I got a Hamsphere account. I need to check that out more. What else do we have? Dan Walsh, nice to have you here. Says everything looks great. Cool. And David Williamson, nice to have you here from South Africa. You got a place for the cat? Always a place for the cat. The cat is, I got a chair. The funniest thing, I've got 2 chairs like this, 2 office chairs. One of them pretty much is always Paul the cat's chair. And I moved things around, so I moved the chair. And since I moved the chair, it doesn't want to go there anymore. I'm like, okay, well, your chair is just there. Nope, doesn't like it. It's like in the corner. It doesn't like that. So I don't know. We'll have to check that out. Actually, I was thinking it would be nice if I could put the chair in the field of view of the camera so that when he decides he comes over here and sleeps in the chair, you guys can see him sleeping while I do the show. That would be nice. What else do we have? Richard Cook's getting Voice of Korea on 12015 in Korean. Frank Foodo is F0DUW. Hello there. Steve in Australia. Nice to have you on board. MDK2 says, good news. I should be able to make a big payment and get caught up on my pledges. Look for it the second half of the month. I hate spacing it out like this, but it's the best way. No problem. You know what? I asked for donations. I asked for help. But it is not something that you have to do. And, you know, you do it when you can, and that's it. And I thank you very much for doing it. Thank you very much for your donations. I've got a few today that arrived, and thanks so much, you guys. It's really, really cool. It's very, very nice. Jack and 9IIF, nice to have you on board. Says house and setup. Cool, thanks. Vancouver Island DXer, nice to have you here, Brian. VE7AUL. Also VE7011SWL, pretty cool. Richard Cook is Voice of Free China Taiwan. It's Radio Taiwan International. That is the old sticker that I got in the 80s from what is today RTI, Radio Taiwan International. Absolutely. The Football World Cup has now become the European Cup after Brazil lost tonight. Man, here we, there's a lot of talk about it here, but not being the major event for a lot of Quebecers. It's not like we talk about it all the time, but we get the news, and there's actually a setup that was done in a park not far from where I live. And they have this big screen and tents. And there's quite a lot of people that actually go there and watch the soccer. It's pretty cool. So we call it soccer here because what we call football is American football. But I know you guys call it football. One of those crazy things that you just, okay. Rock Ristorante from Stockholm, Sweden. Nice to see you. And thanks. Hope you guys enjoy the new environment. Absolutely. SM0SBT. Hey, Tim Lewis. Never be sorry because you're late. It's better late than ever, as they say. Nice to have you on board from Eastern Long, New York, Island, New York. We had a huge heat wave this week here. We had temperatures going up to almost 100 Fahrenheit. And actually there were 50, there was a, earlier today in the news, they said there were 50 deaths this week. So, So it was really, really hot. It's so hot. I got a new air conditioning unit, but it's a portable one. Portable air conditioning units have one big problem. They are not as good as the window types. And I do have a huge window air conditioning, but it was in the shed in the backyard. So what happened is I started, I turned on the air conditioning for the portable air conditioning, and for the first 2 days, not bad. The problem is temperature was slowly rising. So, I would wake up at 23, 24 Celsius the first day. Okay. I would wake up at 25 the next day. And because it was so hot, it would just, get warmer and warmer. It just couldn't cope. So I, after the third day, it was like, okay, I'm not going to live like this. It's too hot. I went in the back. I pulled that 100-pound AC that I've got that was given to me by a friend of mine. And I just shoved it in the living room. We got a sliding door for the balcony. I just shoved it there. I had these cardboard boxes that I made a big, cardboard block around it everywhere. And that thing was so powerful that I could actually almost feel like I was in a fridge. So even at 35 outside, 35 Celsius, it was like 22, 21 inside. It was perfect. So I thought I'm gonna put it there. I'll leave it for the days that it's gonna be really warm. I'll take it out. So I took it out this morning, but I left it in the living room because I've got a pretty big living room. So I thought I'm gonna leave it in the living room, and if it's hot again, I just takes 5 minutes. I just pull it back, put it back in the door, put the cardboard box again, and I got a really really strong air conditioning. But it's telling me that maybe next year I should actually shove that air conditioning in a window because it is so powerful that actually it's amazing. It's super ugly. It's like an old, ugly, beaten down air conditioning. But boy, it is so powerful, incredible. Okay, let me check something. There's something weird happening, and I'm pretty sure the camera is moving. And we're gonna try to fix that. And I think I know why. I'm not. Yeah, things are moving slowly. There we go. Okay, I think we're back. Something happened. It's a short show, yeah. I like that. So, we're back. Sorry guys. I'm having a weird thing happen right now. And it started with the me playing with the camera. So, we're back. Sorry guys. Hopefully. This is so bizarre. So, here we are. And technical difficulties. They sometimes happen. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, hello everyone. So we'll be back. So I'm going down to chat room, coming back, guys. Sorry, just little glitch. A little glitch. It happens, apparently, from time to time. This is my new setup, so it's kind of all. I should have thought about one thing that I didn't a little earlier, but hey, we're here now. So, anyways, we'll continue. Just need to pop up the chat, and here we are again. Hello. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? No show tomorrow for those that wonder. No show tomorrow. Let's go back here. Okay, so I'm drinking Finzimol. Nice to have you here. And by the way, for those that haven't said hello, and actually the camera was moving around. There's I didn't think about it, but there was a that looks good here. Let me just. There's a wire pulling on the phone, and the phone is holding in a frame that is adapted to a tripod. And I didn't notice because I don't see myself, and that's the annoying part of not seeing myself. But I did see that the camera seemed at a different angle suddenly, and I was like, well, the camera is like here now. Sorry, little adjustments. Hey, Chris Freitas, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have you on board, and pretty cool. So no shows tomorrow. Nope. Mark H, hey there, nice to have you here. Neil Thumes, nice to have you here. Thanks for the donations. NDK2 had a question. Is there any reason why we can't do a VHF UHF show in the middle of the month? You know what, NDK2, I'm thinking of changing something for that. One of the things that I don't like is sacrificing a Friday shortwave show for a VHF show. Because more and more people get accustomed to the fact that on Fridays we have a shortwave show at 2000 UT. So give me a week or two. I'm thinking about something. I'll set up the icon here, and I was thinking of probably doing a VHF UHF show, kind of sometime in um, maybe in the middle of the month or any time. But I need to. I want it to be a separate thing so that I don't use a Friday shortwave show. So Dan Walsh, did the new neighbors move in now? Yep, got two new neighbors. A old lady downstairs and a couple next door. And I haven't seen any changes in noise, and it's really quiet, so it's pretty cool. MEC, nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. And yeah, sometimes YouTube, depending on all sorts of little things, doesn't stream necessarily in a good quality. I'm cutting down the chat, guys. Piet Mondrian student, nice to have you here. Randall Klontz, hey there, from Northeast Illinois. What else do we have? So no show tomorrow. David Snyder, nice to have you on board in New Jersey, heading home. Aha, nice to have you here. And what else do we have? Oh man, it was so hot this week that it was just crazy. Just crazy. Hey, Tudo Channel, nice to have you here. Just missed some technical difficulties. Two Hands in the Radio, nice to have you here. Slowly going down. Miki Dalmage, nice to have you here. 31 Celsius today. Hell of a rack in my fridge. Seems that Alexander Keaton and John Lamad are not getting along. Oh man. Radioactive, nice to have you here. Douglas Elliott, nice to have you here. Things are better now. Okay. So yeah, that was a short show. So anyways, we're trying to get back online. What else do we have? Yeah, so I gotta fix that thing because I obviously the wire was kind of pulling on it, so the camera was moving. But we're back. We are back. The shortwave show. The shortwave show. What else do we have? Hey, Cosmic Lettuce. Yeah. We don't want to have too many, but probably does. Probably does. Artie Gideon, missed you last Friday. Really like your new setup. Looks great. Thanks very much. Gary Horoman, nice to have you on board from Tokyo, Japan. PLF Radio is 9705, Radio Vatican Radio. Very clear. Cool. Jim Gordon, hey, nice to have you on board from Dundee, Scotland. I've returned to broadcast band DXing after. Oh, this is cool. It's cool. It's broadcast band DXing is kind of really, really nice. Really nice. Honestly. Paul Smith, nice to have you on board from England. So hopefully there won't be any other weird things happening. Let me just, okay, there we go. So, anyways, new setup, and this is what it will slowly be building up upon. I will have a radio that side, which still has a lot of crap. I'll be changing. Not totally definite setup yet. Thinking of what I could do. That side also, there's a lot of junk in here on that side that I want to do something with, but this is slowly becoming the new setup for the radio shows. I am looking into doing some kind of weird setup on that side for the tech shows. All sorts of things happening, and it's good because if I am taking the time and spending money to do this, it's because I consider that it's worth it to do this. and it's kind of cool. Randall Klontz, could you please explain what the K-index is and how it affects propagation? Okay, in a simple way. In a simple way. So you guys have seen that when we look at the solar conditions, yes, absolutely, the clock can go on the wall. Absolutely, that's also a possibility that I could be checking because I don't want to have it here all the time. I was either thinking of maybe taking everything there and just shoving it in a hole here. That would be another idea. But it also can go on the wall, absolutely. So, okay. When we look at the solar indices, we have three numbers that pretty much every website gives us. Solar flux, which is kind of a measure of the amount of energy the sun is sending to us. It's a measure done, I believe, at 2,400 megahertz. Typically, it's the amount of noise they get on 2,400 megahertz. The more noisy it is, the more active the sun is. Typically, that measure at 2,400 megahertz, when there's new sunspots, it will actually show up as on that frequency. They'll be able to measure that the activity is increasing. Typically, when there's sunspots, the sun tends to be a little more active, send us a little more radiation. You know, not enough to fry us, thank God, but enough to have the upper layer of the atmosphere, the ionosphere, which is the important part for us, ionized a little more. So the solar flux goes from, I believe, 60 is the minimum for the solar flux. 400 is the highest for solar flux. And I always like to say that the lowest I've ever seen, I believe, is 64 a couple of years back, in the last solar minimum. The highest I've ever seen, I still remember, 353. That was a hell of a cycle. The 6 meter band was open all the time. It was crazy. So then you have K and A indices, and they are related to each other, by the way. The K indice measures, it's kind of a measure of the distortion of the geomagnetic field around Earth. So the K index will measure the interaction, if you want, that's happening between the solar wind and the geomagnetic field, because the geomagnetic field, the Earth, is a huge magnet. And that's why your compass works. But that magnetic field is being pushed around by the solar wind all the time. So the geomagnetic field around Earth is always changing. It's not static, because the solar wind brushes against it all the time. It changes the form of the geomagnetic field. It will change the induced currents in the Earth. It will induce currents, for example, in the power grids, especially, for example, here in Quebec. The fact that the power stations are 1,000 kilometers to the north from Montreal, which is a huge distance. And the fact that we're actually closer to the geomagnetic North Pole, plus the fact that we are on the Canadian Shield, which is a huge rock, which lowers the capability, if you want, of the ground to actually transfer currents. So the K index is a measure of the disturbances within the geomagnetic field. It goes from 1 to 9, 0 to 9, sorry. 0, it's super quiet. 0, it's nothing's happening. 9, major geomagnetic storms. Usually that will reflect with aurora borealis everywhere. And if you get a K index of 9, even in a major city like Montreal, you can see aurora borealis because they're so bright. They actually are brighter than the night sky in a bright city. So what does that do for shortwave propagation? You might say, well, what does the geomagnetic field has to do with the ionosphere and the shortwave propagation? Well, what's happening is when the K index moves up the scale, it means it gets really distorted a lot. It could be because of a solar flare pushing against our geomagnetic field in such a way that it creates huge, disturbances within it, and it opens up the possibility of having the solar wind touch the atmosphere much. Why do we have aurora borealis? It's very simple. It's particles from the sun that hit the atoms in the Earth's atmosphere, and because they are very high energy, they actually make them glow. It's one expression of all the energy that's being liberated by all of that interaction. So usually when the K index moves up, it means that we're getting a geomagnetic field that's getting unsettled. Then we get minor or major storm levels. That will increase. It'll have tons of effects on the ionosphere. It will often increase absorption. That means the signals that on a certain frequency will usually reflect on the ionosphere. Instead of reflecting, they get absorbed. And so you don't hear anything anymore. So the K index moves up, there could be more absorption. The ionosphere gets also a lot of the interaction with, for example, if the solar wind brushes our atmosphere, we get aurora borealis and all of that. That's happening up there where the ionosphere is all about. So it can destroy the ionosphere, it can make it weaker temporarily, it can increase the absorption of certain frequencies. So technically, in a easy way, you want to have the K index the lowest possible for good shortwave propagation. As it goes higher and we get into active levels, and then we get unsettled levels, we get minor geomagnetic storms. Usually the ionosphere will change. Like I said, it could have more absorption, but it isn't always the same. It can change in different ways. So it can, for example, block suddenly east-west signals, but have the reverse effect on other regions. So I've seen evenings when we had minor geomagnetic storms where signals from Europe, say Radio Romania, were very weak. But signals from South America suddenly were 10 times stronger than usual. Even the weak Brazilians or the weak stations from South America were actually much better than usual. And so you can often DX even though that happens because of the increased on certain paths, decrease on others. And typically, the higher the K index, the crappy, technically, not always, but often the crappier shortwave bands will be. I've witnessed personally one evening when there was a major disturbance. There was I don't know, about 10 years ago. I'd say about 10 years ago. There was a major solar flare on the sun, and when the cloud of particles from that huge explosion reached Earth, it actually had such a huge impact that I remember I was listening to Radio Havana, Cuba at that time. In a 20-minute time period, Radio Havana, Cuba passed from a very good signal to zero. I could not hear Radio Havana, Cuba at all. And I started scanning the bands, and there was nothing. 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 And I knew there had been a solar flare, so my instinct just told me, okay, go outside, something's happening. Something major is happening. And I remember going outside in the backyard and looking up, and it was aurora everywhere, everywhere, and it was amazing. And to see that in a big city like Montreal means these auroras were really bright. And I remember I called friends and I called my brother, and we were calling each other. It's like, man, go outside, go outside. And I remember telling everybody, if you live in, in a dark sky area, go outside and look at the sky. It is amazing. And I remember the next few days, I think I had 10 of my friends tell me, thank you so much. I was amazed at the spectacle. I was amazed at how beautiful the sky was that night. So that's pretty much what happens. So I hope it's a pretty good um, explanation here. No, I've not signed yet. I need to. I'm a little. I need to kick my butt a little bit more for these things. I'm gonna tell you what. I need to kick my butt a little more and do these things for sure. So that's pretty much the K index, and I've seen a K index. I believe I've seen a K index of 9. Long time ago, but I remember and I believe it was a K index of 9 was the highest I've seen, honestly. Okay, going down, as I'm far in the chat. John Peterson, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. The K2's got a weak signal on 98, 94.6, probably Radio Cairo in French. Jane Dagger, nice to have you on board. PLF Radio's got Radio Romania on 6170. I should get it on 97. What's the frequency? Okay, 6170. 13650, I think is the other one. Let's try that. Yep. Oh, there's some kind of weird interference. 11850 is the other one. It's not as good on 11850. It's really 13650 is the best. Radio Romania.
On Wednesday, lost the matches straight in the first round. Veronica Steinsteiner's Spain had defeated the Belgians upstairs, Eddie's Americans, their Shores, undefeated 7-5 score. After the match was interrupted in the first set.
Radio Romania 13650, 11850, and in Europe 6170. Jim Gordon, nice to have you here. Using a recently purchased venerable Sony ICF 2001D. I'm amazed at the amount of CRI transmitters. Just bought the Texan PL 310 ET. Great for FM and AM. Seems really deaf on shortwave. It shouldn't be. The PL 310 ET is a really good shortwave performer. So there could be something wrong with it. It shouldn't be. Make sure the DX switch is not set to. I think there's a switch for DX on it. I'm not sure. But make sure you set it up right because it is not deaf at all. I can tell you that. So yes, I do need the icon on the desk. Absolutely, it will be somewhere. I want to put probably here, behind the clock. Right now, I got my an insider machine there. I would put it like here, so you guys could see it when I do the stuff. David in Barcelona, nice to have you here. And what else do we have? Ralph Bender, hey there, nice to have you on board from Germany. Paul Spencer went to Japan once. My phone was like a dinosaur. So, oh man. No problem, Nicola. So David, yeah, cool new setup. I miss your ICR. It's gonna be there. Don't worry. No, I will never depart from my Icom ICR 8500 at all. It's in the bag there with the other radios. I'm not going to show you guys because it's a pile of junk right now. I just need to have a longer coax. Ada Volts, it's been a long time. Nice to have you on board. Pyongyang on 9665. Weekber Hearable, says Sir Richard Cook. Very cool. What else do we have? What else do we have? What else do we have? I'll go here. Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Yep, Sportic East season is in Northern Hemisphere actually. Sportic East season is really the at the height of that period right now. There was a little bit earlier to this morning. I tuned in and I heard some on channel 627.025 some of the U.S. CBers, but man. Keegan, nice to have you here. It's an ADXer in Northwest Arkansas. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Anything else? Hello there from Scotland. Milk clips. Yeah, I had the same reaction. I had the same imagine. What else do we have? What else do we have? Ruth Kinsella, nice to have you here from Ireland. Scott Robson, hola, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Patrick Manning, hello there. Nissan Greenwich, nice to have you on board from Dublin. Pretty cool. And so, nice to have everybody here. We're going to talk a little bit about the positioning of the amateur and international broadcast bands. Got a few people that told me, man, I don't know where to listen to. Is there a guide? And I'm sending like a lot of these things there's a lot of websites that talk about it, but it's kind of nice to know where to listen to when you want to listen to something, for sure. Pinmundra student says picked up CBers from Alabama, skipping New Hampshire using wideband. Yeah, they're when they're there, they're so strong. It's just crazy. Vancouver Island DXer says while listening to this show, I'm installing a wall plate so that I can have 6 coax connectors on the wall. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. You're gonna what? Switch them with different antennas, or have 6 different antennas plugged to them? So, anyways, yeah, David. No. The R8500 is never gonna go away. It's always gonna be part of. I have so much. I have so many radios that I departed with over the years that today I think about it and I should never have. I should still have all of those. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to depart from my receivers ever again. It's something that I regret doing, honestly. It's really something that I really regret that I'd done in the past, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna be it's still gonna be it's gonna be here. It's gonna have a nice place here. I just need coax, new coax. I don't have. I looked at the roll of coax I've got here, but it's not long enough. I won't be able to make it from the back up to my office, so I need to buy a big chunk of coax. So this is gonna be interesting. Mickey says, since you adjusted the camera, you're pixelating, so something might be look okay. Anybody else having bad image or something? Just out of curiosity. Hey Fabrice Simonet, nice to have you on board. Is there such a thing as having too long of a straight wire antenna? A wire antenna is never too long. It can be, but I think for most of us, it's you don't have enough space to have it too long. It's just like that. It works. So Vancouver Island the Extra says the idea is to have as many as 6 antennas to choose from. Wow, that would be a dream here. Have choice for 6 antennas. So you know. Oh, that's interesting. Poor picture there too. Oh, that's weird. I'm gonna have to check that out. Neil says, "Are you at 720p, Neil? Just out of curiosity." It could be YouTube. It happens from time to time that YouTube itself has some weird glitches. So it could be YouTube. I never know. Terry Cook, nice to have you here. Shun involvement on 5505. Been hearing it really well. You know what, Richard? Shun involvement on 5505. Since they come back, I have the impression they're even stronger than they were before. Keegan says it's fine. G. Brennan says fine here. Just refresh the page. Reactive. So Joel is going to bite the bullet and get LMR 400. Well, for HF, it's not worth it. For HF, I'm going to keep cheap coax. But I'll have to I'll need the coax for the VHF stuff, and I do have a lot of loss on the higher frequencies, so that's where maybe LMR 400 might be. I'm gonna have to check it out here. David in Barcelona says nothing strange on the stream on that side. Richard Cook says it's good, so I don't know. I think it's YouTube. YouTube's behaving bizarre. YouTube sometimes is just weird. It's you just look at it and you're like, eh. It's like watch. You know what? I had one this week. I was there's a feed that I watch regularly. This week, when I was watching, it was always buffering. And whatever I use, even on the phone on the LTE connection, it was buffering all the time. I was like, what the hell is happening? There's some weird things sometimes with the connections. I can tell you that. Normally, you should be at 720p here, because my phone's sending out 720. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can send 1080, but it doesn't want to. Unless maybe I can try with my S9 Plus, but anyways, as long as it's okay. Randall Claus, what type of coax do you use? Right now, it's RG. What is it? RG58. I'm using RG58. For shortwave, that's okay because the loss is very low on the below 30 megahertz. So there's really no difference in except the most important part of that feed line would be the shielding, a good quality one to make sure that the shield is good, but the VHF UHF one, because the ICOM uses 2 antennas, one for 30 megahertz and above. That one I if I'm about to change, maybe it's time to change for LMR 400 or something like that. It's dreadfully expensive though. I'm looking at it and I'm gonna check it out. But for next week, pretty much for next week, I want to have the ICOM here set up so I don't have to touch it again. And I was thinking, if I'm to move that ICOM there to here, I'm going to go to the electronics store, get myself a strip of, it's a strip of very thin LEDs, so I can have a display that is beautiful, but I want to have the little bulbs that are inside. I want to have the um, some LED lights that won't go out. And you see, says YouTube seems to be defaulting to low res. Yeah, maybe there's something happening. Douglas Elliott, hey there, says 720p is okay. So maybe it depends, you know. Depends. So Neil Toombs is 720p. Okay. I don't know. It's YouTube. YouTube is like that sometimes. MDK2, if you're on a computer, usually on the bottom right, you have a little settings wheel and should tell you that what quality you're on. Bobby says 720p on a Chromecast. Kind of interesting. William Helms in Florida, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. And you know what? The automatic doesn't work all the time. Honestly, the automatic on YouTube, sometimes I have to manually force it to have a setting because it sometimes like gets stuck at 480 or something. It's very I don't know. So the important part is that you people see the show. Pierre Arsenault says 720p is fine where he is. So I don't know. Maybe a refresh. Richard Kuz got RWM on 9996. Mickey Delmash says must have reset when you went down. I had to manually set to 720. Yeah, it's possible. Totally possible. And it's not always. No. Stream has 9 seconds slow. Pretty cool. Paul Smith just refreshed the page fine now. Pretty cool. Luis Sadevallo, nice to have you on board. Yeah, the glare comes from that light. I did look at that, and I don't know. I am thinking of one change that I want to do, because the camera is at approximately face level. I was thinking to avoid some of the lights and having a better way of looking, of putting it maybe just slightly higher than my head in front of me, so it will look down a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, and that means I could maybe move this in the middle here, and even though I talk or do things, it's still going to show. I know my head is not going to block it, because one of the things that is not official is the setup. I need to set up this in a way that I can interact and I can move, and I'm not going to block the view of whatever is to be seen on the screen. But I did see the glare, because when I installed it, I looked at the level and I saw that there's a glare here at the top, which comes from the spot that's at the ceiling here. Because you guys, my setup here is 4 lights. There's one on the right side, my right side. There's another one down there. There's one on the left side, my left. And there's one in the ceiling. And all of that together gives the lighting that I have here, which is, for the live shows, not bad at all. But the problem is, I gotta watch how they're set up and prevent the glare from happening on the screen or whatever, you know. So anyways. So what else we have? Vienna Esteno says if you're on automatic, YouTube reception gets 144. Ew, okay. Yeah, absolutely, Paul Smith. That's exactly what I want. So what I would do is, what I want to do is, I would probably use RG58 for the HF part, because I don't want to spend $1 million for very little improvement. But I do realize that I do have a big loss on VHF UHF. One of the things that I didn't notice how much loss I've got, my coax is broken in the back at the door. And what I did is I soldered the coax back, which technically means there's always a little bit of um, loss when you actually reattach. But I had not noticed, and you know, I left it in a way that I could easily tap into it if I wanted, because I thought, well, if I go in the balcony in the backyard, and I got the R20, it'd be cool if I have a way to tap in my you know, vertical antenna, and that's where I noticed that the coax has such a loss, because I listened to a satellite on the 440 megahertz range, and I could receive it on the ICOM at a certain level. But I noticed that when I would tap there, which means that the coax from the antenna to the radio now is maybe 12 feet long, signal was stronger. And that's where I noticed, okay, just 12 feet long, the signal is actually stronger. So that means there's loss. Because you guys, my coax here is at least 50 to 60 feet. I'm trying to, you know, I don't remember the exact measure. I remember measuring it, but if I look at the way that it's going, and it has a few twists and turns, which is not the best. You know, obviously, if I could tap and have a straight line up to here would be better. Unfortunately, in the perfect world, that would be the case. In my world, it's impossible. So I got to go around the wall, and so there's little twists and turns that actually do some loss. And so, you know, I have at least, well, I probably have at least, I'd say 60, 70 feet from backyard antennas to my office here. And, you know, that's also the sad part. If the office would be in the back, I would have 15 feet of coax to get there, which would not be a problem. Unfortunately, I got a really long coax coming up to here, and I have to live with that. So I have to choose, and so my choice, pretty much, RG58 for shortwave, and maybe LMR 400 for VHF UHF. Bobby Burgess, what do you think of RG59 or RG6 for HF, VHF, UHF? Once again, you know, that's the type of cable that is good for HF because loss is very, very low at the frequency range. The problem becomes VHF, UHF. VHF, you don't go very high, not too bad. You know, RG58 at the 2 meter band, for example, doesn't have that much loss. It doesn't have enough loss to be a problem, but it increases extremely, extremely rapidly. It increases exponentially. That means the loss, the small loss you got at 2 meters, is huge when you get at 800 megahertz or 1 gigahertz. So, for example, some of the signals, if I want to do like on 1090 megahertz for the airplanes, it barely registers because at that 1 gigahertz frequency, the loss is so huge, the signal doesn't make it from the antenna to the radio. So, you know, LMR 400 is good for that. LMR 400 has such low loss, even at 1 gigahertz, that it's the perfect cable for VHF UHF. So I'll have a combination of both. RG58 for shortwave will be okay, and LMR 400 for VHF UHF to minimize the loss, basically. What else do we have? So, Milton says just replaced his 8500 bulbs recently, but fitted new filament bulbs. And I want to put I want to put some LEDs. I don't have these bulbs anymore. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, radioactive, actually. I found this nice little strip of LEDs, which is even more interesting is that the strip of LEDs that I could shove there is multicolored. That means I could switch to a blue, a green, or a orange, or a white display. So depending on my mood, sometimes you're like, I don't want to see the orange anymore. I'll put it blue or green or whatever. So I'll be checking that, and I'll be posting videos, of course. I'll be posting videos of how I did the modification to add it to my icon. So, Danny Shortwave and Radio DX, nice to have you on board. You know what, Jane Dagger? That's Jane Dagger says. You notice no matter how many vids I watch on YouTube about rebuilding carburetors, I'm terrified. It's not just and it's there are these things that you just don't want to touch, and you just leave it to experts. Helton Byington, nice to have you here. Can you read a T-shirt start a show? But it's been fine since the technical problem. That's good. If you can read this, that means it's not too bad. Oh, man. Hey, Callum from Sheffield, England. Nice to have you here, Callum. Patrick Menny's got Seki, TNT, DSL. Yeah, DSL has always been kind of a problem. This DSL, the way that it works, is easily interfered with. So easily have a drop in the speed with the connection on DSL, unfortunately. But these connections are so darn expensive. PLF Radio 7360, Vatican Radio. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Don't look at this clock too much, because I believe the seconds here maybe 4 or 5 seconds fast. So maybe you want to add at least 3 or 4 seconds to what you see here. Yeah, I need cameras. I need tons of cameras. And now back to one sponsor. Hey, Karim Rashid, nice to have you here. Says planning to buy Shortwave Radio. Which one do you recommend? Sony Shortwave 12 analog, Texan PL660, Texan 380, Degen DE1103. Thank you. If you have the money, get the Texan PL660. I think that is the best bet for the money. Second choice, Degen DE1103. And sorry here, I think you guys can see my belly when I do that, which I didn't think of, but it's life. You gotta open the beer. The Degen DE1103 would be my second choice. Texan PL380 is an amazing radio, but the others, the PL660 and Degen DE1103 have single sideband, which is fun because you can tune to amateur radio signals and utility signals. The other ones don't, so you'll have a little bit less choice of what you can hear on the bands. But the Texan PL380 is a great radio for the price that it's sold. So Paul Smith says it would be nice so we can see the monitor, but it's okay. Yeah, there's a few things I'm thinking about for that also. Kind of have a tap of the screen, so it would be possible for me to eventually switch, the view. But, hang in there. There's gonna be some changes from now till the end of the month. So So cheers, everyone. New beer. Callum says 30 degrees Celsius in England, hottest summer since 76. We've just had a really hot um, week here with temperatures of 35 Celsius and more. So let's put it here. Even 175, Vienna also know. US Air Force numbers or EAMs. So anyways, the ICOM, I will have a strip of LEDs that I can switch colors. The only thing is I have to figure out the way I'm going to do it so that I can switch the colors, because you got to tap into it to switch the colors. One of my little ideas was to drill a little hole on the top of the icon and put a small button that I could just tap to change the colors. David in Barcelona says he uses AirCell 5 low loss coax for both HF, VHF, UHF runs, same diameter as RG58, but with a solid copper core, foam dielectric, and double shield. I need to check that out. I need to check out what I can get. Rick Robbins, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have all of you on board. What else do we have? Today is not bad today. Today we're in, I don't know, lower 70s, maybe 74, 75 Fahrenheit. We had like close to 100 Fahrenheit this week. A couple of days. We actually had a kind of a crisis. I mean, they were saying this morning we had 50 deaths around Montreal in southern Quebec due to the heat this week. It's totally nuts. What else do we have? XPA2, well, probably a little late now. Let's try it. 15967, 15967. Anything there? Probably missed it. So I think there's another one in a few in like 9 minutes or something. Hey Fastload, nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. Danny Shortwave Radio DX says phased out is old coax. It makes a huge difference in signal loss and noise reduction. Need to check it out. Yeah, David's got the touch. David's got the let's remove the trolls. Yeah, Paul Smith. I've got about 70 feet. If I put it really thinking, I probably got 70 feet from the backyard to here. And on the high frequencies in UHF, RG58 shows its loss. A lot of it. Richard Cook's got Voice of Korea, 13760. Have I considered quad shielding RG6 that is commonly used for satellite TV? You know what? I need to look more into this, honestly, because I'm not very knowledgeable about the different cablings and the loss depending on the frequencies. So I need to kind of brush up on my lectures. You know, like I said, for the HF part, I'll get a 100 feet of RG58. That's gonna be okay. A good quality one though, with good shield, but that'll be okay. It's really for the VHF, UHF. I need something. I need something that is more, you know. Yeah, here I can't run it through the attic. You know what? Radioactive here is very complicated. So I live in a 4-room apartment, and what happens is that running. So there's only a few ways I can run a cable. You know, honestly, I would be able to, if I could, if nobody minded that a cable crosses everywhere, I could have a pretty straight line up to the office almost, and even have enough. I would already have enough to go up to here. Problem is that I gotta run it through my home. You know, here is the roof, you know, above my head, it's a roof. And even if I run it from outside, even if I do that, there's okay. There'll be less bends, but there'll still be a lot. And in you know, it brings another problem. How do I enter my coax here in my office? It's a sliding window. I wouldn't need a hole through the wall for that. And in the backyard, what's nice is that the door in the back has enough of space underneath that I could actually pass coax there. It squeezes the coax a little bit, but barely, and it actually works, you know. I would say about 70 feet that I have. Callum loves long wave, as usual. As usual. But you know, it's like here the backyard is it's a very complex thing here, you know. I'm already grateful that the landlord doesn't say anything of all the stuff that I do, you know. Yeah, that is one thing that I know. The RG59, RG6 is 75, right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, radioactive says it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure, so I didn't mention it. But RG58 is 50 ohms, which is a match for the 50 ohm input of the ICOM. The ICOM's connector has a 50 ohm input. So you got to match. Try to match. Once again, on shortwave, even that mismatch of 50 to 75 doesn't do a lot. But, you know, RG58 is 50 ohms. So I haven't checked. You know what? I just got a. I was thinking here. What's the impedance of the VHF UHF connection of the ICOM ACRD 500? Is that a 50 ohms connection too? That's kind of interesting. I never thought about it. I don't know why. I probably read about it a long time ago, but I don't remember. Keegan is receiving WWV on 25 megahertz with fading. Wow. I will try it, but I know from experience that 25 megahertz is not a summer frequency usually. But I will try it, you never know. So nothing here, not even a peep of a signal. 25 megahertz for me is more of a winter thing. A winter thing, usually. What else do we have? I miss the extra shelves and clutter. Oh man. Bullfrog, nice to have you here. KD2CXU. Pretty cool. Your setup looks nice. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna try to make it just a little bit more, you know, a little bit more of a professional look, you know. Yeah, but you know, Fastload, I'd rather have good cabling and not add anything to the feed line. Hey Calvin, nice to have you here. Everyone driving home listening. That you're the second or third one driving home. As long as you're just listening and not watching me, I would not, you know, I could see it in the news. Tonight on CBS, we've got, you know, well, actually, you're in Europe, so I don't know but, you know, tonight on the BBC, a man runs into a wall watching a podcast from a guy in Canada. And they'll interview me and like, well, I just do my show. Anyways. Danny Shortwave says, I like the new setup, looks less cluttered, and I love the radio bookshelf and the QSL cards. So, I got some stuff here for radio, and there's more, because I got like, I want to actually put just, because here was a mix of computer, books, and all sorts of weird things. And so I want to put, like, this is the World Radio TV Handbook from 2001 that I found while doing the different, moving things around. So of course I want to have a few radio books. I got a few radio books here. I got, the ARRL Handbook 2007. I've got an electronic version of 2015, I think. And that's the kind of book you don't buy every year. Well, it's not this one, but this one. But people that are technical and like technical stuff, the ARRL Handbook for Radio Communication is actually a very, very nice book. And I want to, I want to end because Jane Dagger says misses the extra shelf and clutter. What I want is to have a clean look here. I don't want to have cluttered space anymore. I want to have a very, very clean thing. So I will have a few radio books on the shelf, yes. There are things that I need to maybe have disappeared, like, for example, Office 2008 for Macintosh. I don't think I need that anymore. I think that's kind of, learning Office for Mac on this, wow. Man. So I want to have radio books, a few radio books, things like that, but nothing, no more clutter. I want to have it clean. What else do we have? What else do we have? Is there anything else? That clock is our lives ticking away. Yeah, pretty much, eh? Pretty much. Every second there is like, yeah, 1 second closer to the end. Now that sounds so depressing. Paul Smith, slow scan TV, anyone? I'm into that in a moment. Yeah, let's go to 14230 and see if anybody's doing anything on slow scan. That'd be nice. If anyone watching this wants to send slow scan on 14230, I'm there. I'll even start MMSSTV right now. Here we go. Bill Mead, nice to have you here. Says like the new set. Thank you very much. Pretty cool. Very cool. Is that an old IBM keyboard? Where? Oh, that here. Oh, you mean this? No, this is my Atari 1040 ST. It's an old computer. An old computer. I do not have these old things. Radioactive is getting Radio New Zealand on 1340 week. So what else do we have? 2120. I've missed it anyways. That one is the Atari. The Amiga is still on the other side. Actually, I want to clean up the left that side there, my right side right now, and put the Amiga and Commodore 128 there, ready to work on this thing. B, nice to have you on board. You are missing a trick with your new setup. High quality picture of Paul the cat next to your icon. That's what is needed. I'll need to have a full-size Paul the cat on the wall. Richard Cook says Cuban lady should be on 11635. Oops. 11635. Yep, she's there. She's not very, very strong in the noise, but she's there. She's there. Jeffrey Kropp, nice to have you here from cooler New Hampshire. Yeah, cooler, cooler here too. It's really, really good. Dan Walsh, nice to have you here. Yeah, the handbook that I've got here is the ARRL handbook for radio amateur. This is a complete. It's almost a complete course in electronics and radio communications. It's an amazing book. I've got a newer electronics version for that right now, but and the other shortwave related thing that I got here is the 2017 World Radio TV Handbook. So I'll see if I buy one this year. I don't buy the WRTH very often. I don't find, I get a lot of people saying, well, you're wrong. And it's like, look, if you're looking for up-to-date information on contacts, address, stations around the world, AM, FM, TV, shortwave, yeah, it's an amazing book. The World Radio TV Handbook is an amazing book. But you know what? It stops there. Remove that information and the contact for QSLs or whatever you would like. Honestly, I am not the guy that would buy a World Radio TV Handbook every year. I was a much bigger fan of Passport to World Radio, which is a much more straightforward, everybody can look at schedules thing. Now, Passport to World Band Radio died very, very simply because the internet has much more up-to-date information now. You get schedules everywhere on the internet and easily. So it's a very, very different thing. So it depends what you do. World Radio TV Handbook is not bad it's actually a good book. It has some radio reviews and stuff like that. But unless you want to have precise information, have contacts, the stations on the air, the information about, the very detailed information about transmitter power, transmitter site locations. It's an amazing book for the information of everything that is there. But apart from that, I can't see, I wouldn't tell a newbie or somebody that just got a radio, oh, you had the World Radio TV Handbook. No, that'll be useless information. I will tell a newbie, you got schedules on primetimeshortwave.com. You got schedules on the ibispace.com, short-wave.info, whatever. It's much more valid and interesting information of what the hell you want to listen to, World Radio TV Handbook is much more of a very detailed information of everything, of every broadcaster out there. So it doesn't play the same role, honestly. George, nice to have you here from the UK. Thank you very much. Keegan says 11635, moderate fading at times for HF01. Beer sickles, I'm not sure. I did have one 3 days ago. I forgot. I bought some beer, but they weren't in the fridge, so I put 2 bottles in the freezer, and I forgot them. So I had actual beer sickles 3 days ago. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let's go down. Let's go down. What else do we have? A good Earth system is the best thing a shortwave listener or ham can have. Yeah. Always depends on your setup, but it's kind of nice. Hey Jerry, nice to have you here. Yep, new setup, not complete yet. Still a lot of things, but not complete yet at all. It's coming. It's coming. We'll have more. Callum says my home looks like a radio museum. That is great. That is perfect. That's what we want. That's what we want. We want to have our homes looking like a radio museum, especially when there's a lot of radio museums, when a lot of old radios from like the 50s or 30s or 40s. These are nice. Hey, Mad Boy, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have everybody here. Jane Dagger says, clean, then lots of IKEA and video for the constructions. Oh, man. You know what No Windows 10s for Dummies book? I'm kind of past the Windows 10 for Dummies. Well, actually, I have only one Windows 10 book, and it's an ebook from Paul Tarot, which is Windows 10 Secrets, because he has so well detailed everything, and it's updated every month. So, well, you know what, Mad Radio DXer, I think I don't have him anymore, but in this shelf here, there was like I think it was Windows Vista Secrets. But I gotta say, Windows XP Tricks. It's a pretty good one too. Oh man, 2140. So now we're at what time is it right now? 21:30. Okay. So 12217. Let's try 12217. I'll stay there so that I can actually try to tune in the 10 minutes XPA2. 12217. So what else do we have? Danny Ray, Shortwave Radio X. Got tons of old books, mostly computer books going back to the mid 90s. I can't part with them. You know, we gotta depart from these books at some point, you know. But I totally understand, you know, you pay good money for books, and it's like after sometimes, you know, it's like. Matter the Extra says, Joe, what about the Amiga? They're all going to be on the display. Don't worry, Matter the Extra. I just want them installed in a way that if I feel one night that I want to game on the Amiga, I flip on the Amiga, switch the input, we're on. Atari 1040 ST or Commodore or whatever. I want to make sure that all of that is workable and always ready to rock. I'm tired of, you know, for many years, the only thing I was doing was like, yeah, I feel like playing Amiga games. I'm going to take the Amiga, plug it in, and, you know, you play for a few hours. Then, of course, you got to unplug everything and put it back where it was. And it's like it's, you know, boring and tedious. So sometimes you don't play because you got to do all the work of plugging it in and everything. I want these things ready. And I am looking for a replacement for the display out here. I've been looking at a few displays. I would like to have maybe a thin display that I'll put on the wall. That would be 50 inch. So this one would not go away, but it would actually be different. So I'd have like a 50 inch here, and I have that one maybe here, where right now is my router and modem. So I know it's lots of little things I'm checking for. Pedro 1, nice to have you here from Greece. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Paul Smith's got some slow scan TV on 14230. Just wish they updated some good software. What are you using for the software? Because MMSSTV is the best. MMSSTV is just great. What are you using as a PC or, you know? I see cardboard boxes, very nice. Yeah, cardboard boxes, absolutely. There's actually a home theater system in the cardboard box right there. That's not installed. Simon Robichaud, bonjour, bienvenue. Nice to have you on board. Thank us Friday, drink up. Thank you very much, Simon. Bienvenue. Where are you located, Simon? Jane Dagger, that handbook is compelling. It is. You know, it's just so funny because I had a friend of mine come over once, and he's like zero technical. And on the phone, He's telling me, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm reading on the balcony outside. So for him, reading is, I'm reading a Stephen King book or something. And he arrives, and here we go. Oh, there was a beep for a second here. Look at that. 12217. There were two little beeps. There were two little beeps. So, he arrives, and for him, it's like reading is reading a Stephen King novel or something. And I get up, and he looks at the book, and he says, what's the oral handbook for radio communication? Because he sees ARRL, and he says, what's the oral handbook? I said, oh, I was just brushing up on, electronics and radio communications. And it's like, okay, so let me get this straight. When you say you're reading on the balcony, you're actually reading really heavy technical stuff. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. And he says, what about, some novel or... No, I don't want to have the story of somebody else being eaten by a shark. I don't care. I want to know somebody that built something and, oh, look at that. He was able to have it working because he soldered that resistor to that part. So, it's very geeky. And it's like, he just looked at me and said, wow, I'm amazed. He actually said, I'm amazed you're a normal working person with that type of geeky stuff that you do. And I said, look, I'm versatile. So anyways, that's life. Well, MDK too, because you're probably talking about the World Radio TV Handbook. I totally understand that point of view. Because obviously if nobody buys the World Radio TV Handbook, we'll lose that that book and all the information that goes with it. And you are right in and maybe I should buy it every year. I should do my part. I after all, I'm the live shortwave YouTuber that talks about radio. So maybe I should every year buy the new World Radio TV Handbook. You're totally right. But the information doesn't change much. And I can't see a newbie, buying it or anything. B says you have to start a petition to get the XH data D808 down to 68 Canadian dollars. Oh man, I like that. I would buy it right now at 68 Canadian dollars. I can tell you that. It's been very, very expensive lately, honestly. I wanted to have one a couple of months back, and then the lowest price I had was like 175 Canadian dollars. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy a XH Data D808 for 175 Canadian dollars. It's too expensive. It ain't worth it. I already have tons of radios. But I'd like to review it, but I can't get it at a decent price. Thanks for sharing, David, for the Air Cell 5 coax. PLF Radio, take care. Always nice to have you on board. Jay Niger says, oh my God, I remember that Vista book. Jason Stafford, nice to have you here. BNF says 14225. Got 883JE. That's just for a few seconds. 14225. That station from Spain is very powerful. I don't know if it's still there. Let's do 12217. Go back here. Whoops. 1221. What the hell? I should be looking at what I do when I type. 12217. Here we go. So we'll see if we hear that XPA2 number station. What else do we have? Hey, Brett Wayne, KC2NXP, nice to have you here. By the way, I sent you back the Money order by in the mail this morning. So I can't believe how complicated it is sometimes to just send money to somebody. It's just crazy. Thanks for your effort and thanks so much for like your patience because it's like crazy. Um, Radioactive says, but really, Jill, Sharknadoes are real. Yeah, they must be. Anyways, they must be interesting because they're like at what, version 8? Here we go, XPA2, 12217. That is a Russian number station. You know, Fastlow, there are some assholes in this life, and they are part of that. I don't remember on what movie, but I remember a movie where it says, well, as I'm getting more popular, I made many enemies in this world. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I kind of understand that, finally. So, you know. St. Joseph 74, nice to have you on board. Studying to take your amateur extra exam. Whoa, cool. Good luck on that. K5BJL. Pretty cool. You know, it's always the same one. Always the same one. What's the story about the lady cop? I don't call her the lady cop. I call her the bitch cop. Don't get me started on the bitch cop again. Yeah, oh yeah, I saw that, Patrick. The lady that climbed the Statue of Liberty. You know, what are you thinking? Climbing the Statue of Liberty. What the hell do you want to do? Come on. MDK2 says the one thing that is unique from year to year is the articles and reviews in the World Radio TV Handbook, but I'm not trying to pressure you into buying it every year. I haven't myself. You know, I understand. I understand the need, and you know, what was it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they kind of re-evaluated should they stay. So here's something happening. Oh, that's something. Not only do you have XPA2, but you've got, what is it, Piccolo? That kind of mood, different mode that was over it. So there's some kind of message in there, in a form of MFSK or something. Paul Smith says 14226, guys, very strong. Vianney says 14226. David says, same here, so not much attracted by literature except if it's technical. That's the type of literature where practical stuff can be learned. Yeah, I mean, you know, some Stephen King novels that are amazing. One guy that I really, really love, actually, I love better than Stephen King is Dean Koontz. He's got some great, great stuff. But I don't read much that type of literature. I read technical stuff. And there's gone. XPA2, which was a Russian number station. So that's kind of cool. 12217. We're part of the international conspiracy of, you know, maybe that message was saying, you know what? That Novichok gas that we sent to these guys in the UK, well, it worked. They're in a coma now. And here's your next target. Maybe that's what it was saying, and we don't even know. You know, maybe that's the type of thing that was sending, okay, they'll be at that restaurant tonight. Go poison gas them. Let's do it. I'm not saying that Russia does that at all. Yeah, right. Okay, I'm gonna stop. You know what? My beer is getting into the effect right now. Calvin says, don't start July with bitch cop. David Arden says, Joe, why would anyone be an enemy to you? If people don't like what you do, they don't have to watch. You know, it's funny, David, because as you learn, you know what? I don't remember, a friend of mine, we were talking about, you know, because there was this, I think it was Lady Gaga that was getting, um, like, really bashed on. And a friend of mine said, why are there people doing that? And, you know, she kind of said, well, just, if you don't like Lady Gaga, just don't listen and don't look at whatever she's doing. And I said, you know what? For a long time, I would see these things happen and think that big stars get bashed by some idiots somewhere. And yes, it would feel weird. I was like, you know, you would just do the same comment. Just look away and go somewhere else. Until I started doing YouTube stuff, and you know, you get your enemies, and it's sad because it's, you know, I think I'm a cool guy. I think I'm a, you know, I who cares? But you get these guys posting videos of you, bad videos about you, or trolling, and you're like, wow, people actually have such a, you know, boring life that you gotta go and troll somebody. But you know, just imagine how your life must be effing boring to troll someone. I mean, you have no life at all. And you actually take the time for, I mean, more than a year to thumbs down everything I do. Come on. Really? Your life must be so boring, it's pathetic. And that's all I'm going to say about it tonight. So, Calvin says, hasn't had enough beers yet. You know what? I actually started about an hour before the show with the beer. I'm actually a little, yeah, I'm close, but I'm happy tonight. Oh, it's ale. Yeah, ale. Thank you. I took the wrong, it's not piccolo, it's ale. Yeah, it is ale. Absolutely. So, you know, it's just, you know, but I'm in a happy mood tonight. No problems. So, you know, it's, you know. David says E3JE. I think this QTH is in fact north of Barcelona. I hear him all the time on 40 meters, 20 meters. That guy's always has a strong signal here. Yeah, I like that too. Paul Smith says I like the old-fashioned one-time pad. It's, you know, James Bond style, something like that. You know, it's kind of cool. You know. Richard Cook's got Brazil in 9665. Yeah, that's isn't that like Radio Doce Amor or something like that? I don't know if I hear anything here. There's really nothing much there. Yeah, there is something there. It's in the noise, but I hear there is this signal on 9665 here. B says, before you get too honest on thumbs downs, you are protected by great subscribers that act like your own Patriot missile defense system. Oh, I like that. I like that. It is true. But you know what? There are things that you learn, and you know, I'm in contact with several YouTubers that we exchange regularly on all sorts of subjects, including, you know, trolling and bad comments. And I mean, I think the most difficult thing that probably a new YouTuber gets confronted with is how mean some people are in their comments. And I mean, they are mean. You know, I over the years I have a shield, and I try to ignore. There's still sometimes one comment here or there from some idiot that actually knows where to get you. You know, he puts the exact good comment that gets you right here. And there's a few people that we've been talking, and it's like, you know what? If you want to be a YouTuber, if you want to be a star, you want to be a popular person, you will have to cope with the fact that some people hate you and will always do. For what reason? All sorts of reasons. I think some people just don't like the fact that others get popular doing something they love, and you know, it's part of the show. And I am pretty much immune today of that. I rarely have a comment that will get me to a point of. And honestly, I got a couple of enemies that posted bad videos about me, and they're not even on YouTube anymore. They've left the video there, the channels are still there. But you know what? For some reason, it's like, okay, if you feel, you know, some people feel like they're, I don't know, 12 years old. And I even you know, earlier. I think some people are like, you know, 6-year old. Well, he's got candy and I don't. And yeah, okay, stop being a crybaby about it and just do something. If you do something right, you're gonna be there. If you're not there, well, you're not doing something right. Stop complaining and whining about others that do better than you and do good stuff. It's all that you gotta do. That's it. Radio New Zealand stronger in 13840. At this time, it's too early for me, but I've been hearing Radio New Zealand quite often around 0400 in just before going to bed. 0400 is midnight local here. So what I do is I put the ephedry as the R, and I take a laptop to bed. And 2 or 3 nights this week, I was listening to Radio New Zealand. AC Johnson, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Radio Cairo 9800 says Richard Cook. Anything here? Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, it's strong. It's distorted, but it's music from Radio Cairo. You know, most of the time we don't even hear anything. Radio Cairo 9800 from Egypt. Man, imagine if these guys would fix all of that stuff, because most of the time their signals are always very good. But man, there's no audio, or it's so distorted you don't understand one thing. It's so sad. I mean, these guys could have, you know, give us Egypt, unfortunately. And talking of Egypt, where is it? Where is it? It was here 2 seconds ago. Well, before the show started, I think it's this one here. Yep. This is a Merry Christmas card from Radio Cairo, by the way. This is a Christmas card from Radio Cairo. I found it in a book. I was using it as a... Says it's in French too. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Radio Cairo. Look at that. It's in French. Pretty amazing. I've had that for probably 15 years at least. At least. I'd like to know what date that was, because there's no dates here. Look at that, it's in English. I can actually understand English. It is so sad because that signal's good. If it be a clear English broadcast, you could actually listen to Radio Cairo right now. And I still can't understand that you pour in millions of dollars in a broadcast and can't fix the transmitter to have everything working. I still can't understand that. You know what? Radio Cairo will one day disappear, thinking nobody's listening, where in reality we were listening, we just can't understand a thing, which is very different. You know? I mean, come on. BNF Sano says, your beer looks good. You made me thirsty. You should have a sponsorship of all the breweries. Yeah, I would need to check that out. I wonder if, you know what the problem is? If I have a sponsorship of alcohol, I'll probably have to flag this channel 18 years. So I don't know. Hey, Jane Dagger, take care. Always nice to see you here. And thank you. Peace. Love you. Love you. That's so cool. Danny Shortwave is going to fill up his son's little pool so he can cool off outside. That is the beautiful parts of when we are young. Just amazingly cool. Amazingly cool. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? Paul Smith says, have it here, 20 dB over, audio is terrible. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it is a beautiful car. Absolutely. You know, it's kind of cool to receive these things. Brett Wayne, 9800 is 10 over 9 S9 in Salamanca, New York. KC2 and XP. Paul Smith says, got all my cars from the 90s. Cycle was at a high. Them days I went back. You know, it's like when I was really shortwaving in the 80s as a teenager. I really miss that time. Guys, I need to do something because I unplugged the power, and thanks to one feature of Windows 10 that works very well, Windows 10 just told me that my phone has 15% battery. I don't want to stop the show right now, so let me just see what I could do to be here a little longer, because I want to plug it in. And I didn't think that I needed to do that right now in such a way. So let me just try to do something about it. Okay. That's another thing I need. More plugs. Okay, let's see here. And I'll have to fill my beer, so, you know. Let me just see if I can plug in here. Oh, God. There we go. Plug in here. And see if that... it's still short, man. I hate it. Too short. I need to put a new power outlet somewhere. So that doesn't work. If I put it back there, it's going to actually push the camera on the other side. Okay. Do I have another possibility? Well, let's see if this can help me out for a little longer. There is still some power in here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do my best, but I didn't think I had to do that tonight. Here we go. My phone is really hot. It's just incredible. Here we go. Hopefully it does work in some way. And here we go. I could change the camera side. Did I? Really? I did. Look at that. Hello. Let me just put the other camera around. There we go. There we go. And let me just like this. Hopefully it's gonna work for a little while. Battery's still on there. And if the stream stops at some point, I'm sorry. But it's gonna be better next time, okay guys? Because I just need to do a little bit more here to have everything working. Okay, what else do we have? What else do we have? What am I compensating for, Fastload? Really? Bill 17711. Thanks, David. Man, I thought there might be something today, so thanks for the info, David. Really, really nice to have you tell me that. I got such great fans, man. It's just so cool. So, okay. Pretty cool to have everybody here. 96 watching right now. What else do we have? What else do we have? Yeah, with a name like that, it's really, really, really not a troll, eh? Man. Okay, what else do we have here? Muted. Hey, it's really nice, David. Thanks so much for letting me know. MDK2 says it's funny because Gilles Nemesis hates all of Gilles' accounts, but it looks like possibly he created a bunch of troll accounts himself. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He, to give you guys an idea, on one video, he used all of its powers. He spent the full day thumbing down a video that I did. And at the end, it was like, I don't know, 75 thumbs down. And I can tell you guys, they all come from the same place. And it's the same guy. He just created so many accounts. Which means no life. No life. And is it sad? You know, somebody said, well, it's sad. It's not sad. He's just an idiot. And that's it. It's not even sad. If your life is that, it's not even sad. You're just an idiot. Okay, what were we talking about? 9760 for Radio Romania, I saw. Here we go. Radio Romania, 9760 kilohertz, pretty good here. Pretty good here. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Cosmic Lettuce says 96 watching, 98, 99. I just got 99. And only 46 thumbs up. Yeah, you're right. Not enough. Vianney says, at an extraordinary meeting last week, director of Wind Farm here told me that they were installing a DMR communication system and everything will be transmitted by fiber optics. Oh, cool. Pretty cool. That's pretty nice. Ernie Turner, nice to have you here from Australia. 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Pretty cool. VK3DET. Nice to have you on board, Ernie. Fastload says, you know, you can pay for tons of things, Fastload. You can pay for views, you can pay for whatever. I don't recommend anybody pay for views because YouTube ain't dumb. Okay, I can tell you that. YouTube is far from being dumb. Andrea the Exorcist says, pay for dislikes now. That is sad. Yeah, you know, it's incredible. Okay, guys, I'll just do some shameless promotion for a few seconds. If you like what I do, why not help me out through PayPal at this Yahoo email. You can, of course, send me a little something. And, of course, patreon.com/radio and computers. And thanks for everybody that is contributing to me, helping do things better and help out. It's pretty cool to have all of you here. Oh, absolutely, Vaults. That's what I was saying once, because I remember somebody saying, "Oh well, you know, it's sad because it hurts you." Somebody has been putting a lot of dislikes, and I said, "No, no, no, it doesn't work that way. Actually, dislikes and likes, when there's interaction a lot on it, a video is actually boosting you up totally, because YouTube doesn't like just likes or just dislikes. It likes a battle of likes and dislikes. It means there's some kind of controversy here. There's something happening on that channel. You got to do it. And that's what happens. So when somebody tells me, oh, well, you got, 10 dislikes and 28 likes, it's like, okay, got no problem with that. I have no problem with that, honestly. So, just hang on. Just hang on. It's just funny. Makes me laugh. So absolutely, it's it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter honestly when you have dislikes. And where I find it funny is how people will define a dislike. They'll, for example, in the tech thing, on the tech video, they're gonna say, "Well, I tried what you were explaining. It doesn't work for me, so dislike." I don't know. I don't think you know what a dislike is supposed to be used. A dislike could be what you do I don't like, but not what you do didn't work for me. On a computer, when you got a problem, there are 28 solutions, or 38 solutions, or 58 solutions. One of them does work. Not all of them. Nothing is 100%, and when I try to explain how to fix that thing, it's one solution amid hundreds of solutions. It's just fun. Anyways, doesn't care. And as Walt says, like, dislike, it just adds to the importance that I have. And these people think that they actually do something to make me less popular or whatever, but they're actually making me even more popular because there's more interaction. And that's what YouTube likes. Interaction, not all sorts of whatever. Just likes or just dislikes or whatever. The more interaction there is, the more YouTube pushes you up in the scale of popularity. That's all. Is Mr. Paul the cat around? He's outside, and I don't think he's he's close. He likes to spend his summer days outside. I know you guys miss him. He doesn't come into camera much these days. But so, hey, thanks for the donations, by the way, guys. I see them coming in. Really cool. Oh, really? Yeah, that's true. It's funny because you know what, Cosmic Lettuce? I was explaining because a friend of mine was mentioning how come it's so hot. Earth, I saw it somewhere. Earth is at the farthest point from the sun, and of course you got to explain that. Yeah, but it's not summer because of the distance of the Earth to the sun. It's summer because of our 23.5 degree angle. That means that the northern hemisphere at this time gets more sunshine, so the atmosphere heats up more. That's why we're in summer. And it was like, well, we're the farthest point of the sun, it shouldn't be so hot. No, you don't understand. It has very little to do. I mean, yes, the Earth's orbit is an ellipse, but it's not enough to really make that much of a difference. So yeah, it's summer, and we're at the farthest point of the sun. where it might have, you know what, Cosmic Lettuce, where I have one question. I mean, I don't know exactly how many million kilometers the difference is from closest. Maybe you have that answer. Closest point to the sun in aphelion, which is the farthest point to the sun. The difference is, I don't know, 20, 30 million kilometers? I don't know. I don't actually know. I've never looked at how many. Maybe it's just 5 million. Maybe at 20 I'm too much. Maybe it's just like, I don't know, 5 million kilometers. Maybe you can tell me that. But one thing that I actually was wondering, that difference, when we look at the ionosphere and the ionization from the sun, now it doesn't play much of a role in the atmosphere probably because we don't spend enough time in that period because the earth moves all the time. Is the ionosphere just a little bit more ionized in January when we are the closest to the sun than it is in July when we're at the farthest point? Does it have a noticeable, or can we measure the effect on the ionosphere of that difference in distance? And that's something, that's my geek part. I thought about that a dozen times. Is there a measurable difference in the ionosphere, in the ionization of the ionosphere for HF propagation, January or July? Or is that difference in distance too small to actually really make a difference? I don't know. I'm curious about that. That's one point where I'm curious about if it's happening or not. Richard Cook, have I tried the time stations today? So, no, David Arden, doesn't mean we should be hitting thumbs down. It just means interaction is important. So, thumbs up helps, thumbs down actually adds, but you can't be both. So, you got to be thumbs up or thumbs down. But the more interaction you get, so the more thumbs up and down, the more it's okay. There's a lot of things happening on this channel. So let's remove that and see the time stations. So 25,000, I don't think I'll hear, but let's try it. WWV. Nothing there. 20,000. Nothing there. 15,000. Nothing there. 10,000. A little lower. I hear it here. I hear WWV and 10,000. It's not very strong, but it's there. Let's try RWM from Moscow. 14996 CW. 9996. Nope. Not hearing much today. Below that, it's converted. We still have too much. We still have too much daylight here for now. Paul Smith said, I bought a couple of radios from Japan. They look after radios and some good bargains to add the other auctions. What is old to them is great for us. Yeah. Many of the answers. So a like or dislike is like a channel boost because people are voting. Yeah, pretty much. Same. It does not make a difference if it is one or the other according to YouTube algorithms for popular videos. If you have likes and dislikes, you do get boosted because the more you get, that is it means there's something happening on your channel. It means there is. Oh, I'm hearing a very Richard. It fades in and out, but I'm hearing the time pips of the RWM and 9996 from Moscow. They're very weak in the noise, but if I listen close, they are there. I'm hearing RWM very weakly on 9996. Have you ever considered a Texan S2000 for simplicity? I'm not sure what you mean for simplicity, but honestly, I'd like to have one, but I find it a little expensive, just for what it is, honestly. But it's a nice radio. Yeah, you know. Wow, Cosmic Light, a 6-second delay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. C. Johnson, I broke my old SDR dongle last month trying to solder the USB cord directly to it. But I got a new elect dongle and it works a lot better than the Generic. Well, the new elect is more expensive, but it does add some capabilities. It's not worth it's not worth losing time over whatever. And just, I have grown to accept that some people dislike. I do have enemies, and that's it. It's life. And you know what? If I could, right now, I would say so many bad words. Just in your head, imagine all the bad words I would say, because I'll be nice and not say it. And with go to hell. And it doesn't matter anyways. I don't care. So, Bobby, I can in my YouTube statistics. For those that don't know, where. I think the camera's still moving. By the way, I'm just gonna check it again. I think the camera's moving off of. But it's not. It doesn't seem. Still okay? Still okay. Let me just move. No, it did move a little bit, but not much. It's okay. I'll try to. When that thing is moving around, it's just crazy. I need to find a way to secure the camera better. So, anyways, what was I talking about? And now it's on the other side a little more. It's okay because it'll be pulled back, anyways. So, anyways, on YouTube, you don't know who puts a dislike or who puts a like, but when you start going down into the different categories, you can see where dislikes come from. So when you get dislikes, you kind of notice, oh, they're always coming from that country, So you know where they are coming from, unless they're using, if they're using a VPN or something to fool YouTube or whatever. But you do know where they come from. You can actually, like I said, you're not pinpointing the exact location, you're pinpointing a country. So if 60 dislikes come from Finland, you know where they come from. So sometimes when you have an enemy, because, there's another thing that these guys don't know. These guys that, my camera's moving. These guys that actually complain or that do dislikes or that troll, they think they're immune and nobody knows about it, who they are. Problem is, all us YouTubers, plus, not just YouTubers, there's a few websites about radio that I communicate with. We talk about trolls because they know I am affected by trolls, and they are. I'm sorry. Okay, back. Sorry. I really need to fix something here to make sure that this works better next time. I'm so sorry, guys. So, anyways, when the so we all talk together. At some point when you get certain importance, everybody that has something interesting in the same field, we all talk to each other. And we all agree on who are the trolls, because there are trolls that show up in different areas on different websites. And by the way, they actually write their comments, even here. By the way that somebody shows up in the chat and trolls, just the way that it's written, just the choice of words. We're not dumb. We know who trolls. And the amount of people that troll is like, I can have them on my 10 fingers. They're always the same. And it's funny because they think, oh, nobody knows I'm trolling. Yeah, we know. We know you are. And we know who you are. And we know from what part of the world you are, for the most part. And that is funny because they think, no, we can't find out. Yes, you can. We're not dumb, And so everybody talks together about this. Okay. Yep. We need to know that, Cosmic Lettuce. Have a show tonight. I'll be there. Dave's Air Checks. Nice to have you here. Yeah, Global Tutors. Absolutely. It's a nice one. It's better. I like SDR.HQ because of the big choice. But Global Tuners is one that I'm subscribed to, and I actually like tuning the radios there, for sure. What else do we have? Cuban Lady on 10715. 10715. Yeah, it's there. There's a signal at least. There's a signal at least. 5 million kilometers. Okay, thank you, Cosmic Lettuce. I was wondering. So less than 5% difference. So it's not that much. Thank you, Paul Smith, for the donation. It's really, really nice to have all of you here. And thanks for being great fans. You guys are great. You guys are great. What else do we have? Take care of Yanni Arsenault. Always nice to have you on board. Always nice to have you on board. Fast load, bad Jill. Yeah, I am the bad man. I know it. Steve Johnson says the noise is much lower in the new elect, but I gave up on trying to listen to anything lower than 6 meters. Too much noise. That's the biggest problem of SDRs, honestly. That's the biggest problem of SDRs. Yeah, it would be nice to see a Montreal receiver on Global Tuners, Dave Zarchek. I know. I could probably put, I could put, my icon there. The roving camera. Yeah. The trolls were moving the camera. Camera's looking for Paul. I like that one. Camera's looking for Paul. Steve. No intended. Finland. Wonder why Finland. Oh God. AK6YL Kimberly, nice to have you on board. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to. You got to talk about trolls for trolls to come back, eh? It's just crazy. It just makes me just a lot of fun. Anyways, you know what? Hey D-Raf, nice to have you on board. Dave Freeman, nice to have you here. Oh man, you got to talk about trolls for trolls to come back. What else do we have? They're losing their time so much. Well, okay, here's the thing, Vancouver Island DXer. We are now July 6th. And obviously, I need to go to Perry Island. So, I will, if the weather permits, be at Perry Island probably next Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be the 11th. Next Wednesday, the 11th of July, is when I plan to go there. I gotta go. I haven't been there yet, and really, really need to go and do these videos for sure. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, Cosmic Lettuce. I guess that's the price of being popular. It's the price of being popular. You know. Ah, man. Chris Freitas says, hey, I was checking out some of your videos of the Radio Shack DX398. I actually just ordered one from eBay in new condition. I should have it by tomorrow. How well has yours held up? Okay, here's the thing, and I actually have it really close to me, Chris. So DX398 is this thing that I am trying to get out of the wires. So for those that don't know, the DX398 is also the same as the Synergium ATS 909 receiver. And here's the famous example of mine, which is it's a pretty heavy radio for a package like this. It's this radio. I don't know if the battery is good enough. Yeah, the battery's good enough to show you what it looks like. So the X398. What do I have to say about this radio? I need to put that screw a little tighter. Here's the thing. It is an amazingly cool little radio for what it is. The fact that it tunes single sideband and 40 hertz precision is amazing. What's happening is the fact that its circuit is a little deaf. A little bit. So on the telescopic antenna, you might find that signals are not as strong as they could be. Yet, if you put that thing on a long wire, it's a surprising machine. So, it's a